Hello, toy fans, and welcome back to my 13 days of Halloween. Yes, that's right, toy fans. It is now day 13 of my 13 days of Halloween video series. Hopefully you've been following along each day and making sure you're getting entered into that contest to win some pretty cool prizes. Don't know what I'm talking about? Definitely check the link below this video for more information about how you can win and what the prizes are that are available. But today we are looking at the Marvel Select Zombie Sabretooth figure released by Diamond Select in 2015. This Sabretooth is based off his appearance in Marvel Zombies Volume 1, and as an X-Men fan I had a hard time passing it up when I saw it in my local comic book shop. As you can see here, we do have a giant blister bubble packaging. We've got the figure pictured there inside. Looks like he's got a display base. We have some artwork from the original Marvel Zombies comic book, and then we have the figure's name off there to the side. Rotating this package around, you do see a larger image of Zombie Sabretooth straight out of Marvel Zombies Volume 1. Then on the back of this packaging, we do have an image of Zombie Sabretooth in the upper right. We've got the bio for the figure leading down the left-hand side. And then we have a picture of some other figures currently available from Diamond Select. Alright, Spook fans, well that's the packaging. Let's get this murderous mutant out of the box and see what he's all about. And here we have Zombie Sabretooth out of his box. And guys, this figure looks amazing. He's sculpted amazingly, but man, the articulation's a killer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the detail first. This Sabretooth figure has been sculpted wonderfully. Now his design does not really mimic Sean Phillips' artwork from Marvel Zombies, but you know what, that's okay because he looks so good. I mean, I think that they did fine with the paintwork and sculpting that he does have. As you look at the head here, I love the way that he's got the sort of heavier recessed eyes, I guess, with the bone, the ocular bone of the skull definitely showing through. He's got really nice teeth detail, and all of this is painted. I love the blood that's just kind of been applied all around the face. The hair on the top of the head is sculpted very, very nicely. And it's got some detail in there with some darker flecks of paint. He has the mane, which looks incredible. Now the mane is actually sort of a soft, almost rubbery like plastic, but it's very solid. It's not gonna, flex around too much. But every strand of hair has been sculpted on this thing, and then they have paint applied, for blood, like around the front of the mane to show that he's kind of been eating or even that he's been injured a bit. Coming down the figure, great musculature. I really love the sort of ripped out abdomen area. Looking at it closely, I can't really see anything anatomically correct per se in there. It looks like they just kind of sculpted in some, I don't know, just generic organ looking things, but it's painted very nicely. Coming down the figure, we have some more scratches. Looks like he's definitely tussled with Wolverine in zombie mode. You see here with the 3 slashes here and the 3 slashes here. The detail of the costume has been sculpted really nicely. There's actually stitch detail for the design on the costume, as well as just having a general sort of wash going around the figure to kind of highlight the texturing on the costume. Coming down here, we have a bite, I guess, or just a piece of damage sculpted into the ankle there. Now, their actual sort of hinge piece is kind of detracting from the sculpt on this side, but on the other side of his body, you'll notice that they actually put a red plastic hinge in to kind of match the sort of musculature that's exposed on this figure, which I think was a really nice touch. Minor nitpick, but he is missing the triangles that are typically seen on the toes of the Sabretooth costume. But then we have more great sculpted detail coming up again here with the stitches on the leg. Coming up to this side of the body, I love the musculature that's been sculpted in the exposed parts of the costume here. This definitely looks like he may have been bitten on the shoulder when he actually transformed, and I like that detail there. Again, nothing super anatomically correct inside the hole seemingly, but the actual musculature itself does look pretty good. Coming down the figure then here on the arm, you'll see more sculpted detail. I mean, just looks fantastic on this figure. I love the way that we have the carpal bones showing on the back of the hand there. And then we have the spikes here on the elbow. Now on this side, they actually made that a bone, and I do not think that that's accurate. I'm kind of surprised that that's sculpted that way. I thought that was just an effect of the costume. Sabretooth has been seen without his costume on numerous times, and he doesn't have these giant bone spikes jutting out of his elbow. So I'll chalk that up to a creative license, I guess. But I do wish that that wasn't actually a bone. That just kind of bothers me a little bit. But then looking at the hand here, we have more excellent sculpted detail on this finger, and some great bone work, I guess you can see here. And then on the back of the figure, we even have some more musculature and another sort of nice sort of bite shape taken out of his back. We have that mane again, looking great. Coming down the back of the figure then, we have the more musculature detail for the back of the leg. Really, this is a fantastic looking figure. I'm very happy with how he looks. And then, of course, the paintwork I think is just phenomenal. So that is probably the best parts about this figure, I have to say. Zombie Sabes does have this display base that you see here. There's no actual peg sticking up on this display base, and Sabretooth does actually have holes in the bottom of his feet. So I kind of wish that this display base actually had a peg on it. The Sabretooth figure himself is very top heavy, and I feel like he's going to be prone to falling over on shelves if you're not careful, or if you live in a place with earthquakes or something. He's probably going to tumble. So I wish that this base actually had pegs on it. Sadly it doesn't, but it is sculpted very nicely and painted very well. But I wish there was more to it as well. I mean, it's kind of small, but I love that we have this sort of half a Goblin glider on here, and we definitely have some claw marks, so Sabretooth's done some battle with the zombie Green Goblin. We do see the internals of the Goblin glider inside that base. It might be kind of hard to see at this angle, but I think that was done very, very nicely. We have lots of wires and even the engine for the glider. But as you rotate this around, the rest of it just seems to be, just generic, I don't know, sidewalk maybe, with a few bits of rubble. So it looks nice, it just seems a bit small, and again, the pegs. I wish it would have pegs for his feet on there. Okay, so now let's talk about where this figure really lets me down, the articulation. As you take a look at Sabretooth's head, it's worth noting that he does have a jaw hinge, but it barely moves the jaw at all, so it's almost like, why bother, I think? But it's nice that you can see the tongue in there a little bit more, but it just doesn't move that much. His head cannot look up at all. That's as high as it goes. And as you saw when he was standing, it's kind of like he's looking down a little bit. You're not going to get him in any sort of great lunging poses because the head just does not look up at all. But it will look down very far. It does rotate left and right, and it even has sort of a tilt to it that you can give it, so you can have a quizzical zombie look if you wanted to. He has shoulder hinges that rotate all the way around, or shoulder joints rather. He does have a hinge that only allows his arm to go up that far, not even 90 degrees. He has an elbow joint that's almost useless. It bends forward that far and bends back that far. Yeah, that's it. You want to see that again? Bends forward that far and back that far. Not a lot of movement in the elbow. The hand just has a swivel. There's no hinge to allow the hand to go backward or forward, and no finger articulation. His torso has no ab crunch, which, given the sculpt work, I can understand why it's not there, but it does limit the posability of this figure quite a bit. He does have a forward rotation here at the waist. His legs will actually hinge forward only about that far, not far at all. Back just to standing position. He's got a hinge so his leg can actually bend out, and it actually bends out pretty far, but it's kind of impractical given the rest of the articulation on the figure. He's got a double jointed knee that does collapse in all the way, and then he's got an ankle that will bend forward that far, bend back that only to about standing position, and then he has a ankle pivot similar to what we've seen with Hasbro figures. Really though, it's great that he's got the ankle pivot and even the double jointed knee, but this figure is really stiff. I mean, you're not going to get him doing much more than just standing in position. And in retrospect, if you look at the back of the packaging for this figure, the Sabretooth on display is also just kind of standing there. Height-wise, we can see that zombie Sabretooth does stand just shy of 8 inches. Here he is compared to the Marvel Select Colossus figure that I've already reviewed. Here he is compared to Marvel Select Magneto. Here he is compared to the classic Marvel Legends Toy Biz Sabretooth figure. And finally, here he is compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. Hey, Sabes, what are you doing here? Yeah, no, that's not English. Nah, runs. You used to be more fun. Alright, toy fans, well, that's my review of the Marvel Villain Zombies Sabretooth figure released by Diamond Select in 2015. Overall, I've got to say again, I really love the paintwork and the sculpting on this figure, but the articulation just kills it for me in the fun factor. As an X-Men fan, I'm glad I got to check this figure out, and it's not so terrible that he's part of my collection, but he's really not going to do much more than just stand there. I mean, this is, for all intents and purposes, a zombie Sabretooth staction figure, and I really feel a bit let down. For that reason, I'm sadly going to have to tell you guys you probably want to skip this figure. Even if you're a fan of the Marvel zombie stories and an X-Men fan, there's probably other select figures out there that you can spend your money on and get more entertainment out of. Alright, toy fans, well, that's my review of the Marvel Zombie Sabretooth figure. I wish we could have ended on more of a bang, but at least the figure looks nice, right? Let me know in the comments below, what figure did you pick up recently that really killed it for you in the articulation department? Also, if you haven't yet, make sure you watch every video in my 2015 13 Days of Halloween series, and respond to each one of the questions I've been asking at the end of my reviews. That'll make sure you get entered into my contest to win some pretty cool prizes. I'll be announcing a winner on November 7th. I hope you have a safe but incredibly fun and horrifying Halloween. And we'll see you next time.